Hello everybody, and welcome to the August 11th, 2018 edition of the Ephrom Josine Show. I am your host, Ephrom Josine. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of the Ephrom Josine Show to actually be on the Ephrom Report YouTube channel. Isn't that amazing? Of course, you can read the Ephrom Report, the actual reports, at ephromjosine.blogspot.com, which there is a link to in a description of every Ephrom Report video, as well as on the YouTube channel. But with that said, let's get started. I think we should start off with talking about the state of New York, specifically their gubernatorial race, which, if you do not know, is causing Governor Andrew Cuomo, that's his last name, Cuomo, I forgot that for some reason, to face Sylvia Nixon. Now, I have some issues with Sylvia. Most notably, unlike her granddaddy Richard, she has not made it clear whether or not she is a crook. But Craig T. Nelson, who, if you do not know, I'm a pretty big fan of, tweeted just, I never in my life did I imagine we get a candidate like this, and just tweeted 4 stories of her. One is from New York Daily News. Sylvia Nixon ignites outrage for saying marijuana could be form of reparation in black neighborhoods. That actually makes a lot of sense because it's well known that black people are disproportionately arrested for marijuana offenses, and Richard Nixon even said he made marijuana illegal because he could not make it illegal to be black. So that was the whole point of the drug war. Here's another. Now this is a tweet from her. First we hashtag abolish ICE. Again, I disagree with that. And then we abolish the monstrous Trump-Pence administration. Neither can happen soon enough. And that is in reply to Mike Pence saying, last year, ICE agents rescued 518 trafficking victims and 904 children subject to exploitation, yet top dens like Sylvia Nixon call ICE agents terrorists. To be fair, ICE has done a lot more of that. I'm in support of ICE, for the record. But even I'll admit, they've done a lot more than that. This is another tweet. This one is from Jesse McKinley. At Sylvia Nixon, holding a wire hanger at a United Square rally for abortion rights advocates, says her mother under... I love that, holding up a coat hanger. You know, that was a joke like 20 years ago. Now politicians are actually doing it, except for the right reason. I'll give it that much. And the last one's another tweet from Sylvia. Why don't pundits who are so obsessed with Ocasio for 2018 supporting democratic socialism ask corporate-backed politicians why they are so supportive of unfettered capitalism? I love that so much. It's because you follow the money. And that is why we have so many debates. It's because if you follow the money, that's what it comes back to. That's why Hobby Lobby didn't want to pay for birth control. It wasn't because of religion, it was because they didn't want to pay for it. Because it would have cost them. That's why Neil Gorsuch is against assisted suicide. That's why all these health insurance companies hate assisted suicide. Because can't make a profit that way. You know, I absolutely love this one. I disagree with her. I think she's probably farther left than me. But I won't deny if I said she is just amazing in what she says. Anyway. While on the topic of New York, let's talk about the New York Times. Specifically an op-ed written by a man named Frank Barini? Never heard of him. Called, The Center is Sexier Than You Think. I did not actually read this article. All I know is I'm using that as a catalyst to jumpstart my career in film directing. As I will be making a film called The Center that will be released very soon. Don't worry. That's a lie. I just lied to you and I'm not sure why. Anyway, you know, For the last thing today, I was gonna pick another thing about abortion, and I don't know why, but it's something we leftists are just obsessed with. Mainly because the right is also obsessed with it. And I couldn't figure out. I was originally gonna do Matt Walsh's article over on Daily Wire. However, I really don't want to talk about Matt Walsh right now. A lot of it is because he's just an idiot. And so I found this article on Town Hall. It's by a guy named Jerry Newcomb. Never heard of him, me neither. Called 5 Reasons I Think Roe v. Wade Should Be Overturned. You know, with the possibility of that happening. I don't think it's going to happen, for the record. At least I kind of hope it doesn't. So I figured we're just going to let it up to a random wheel. Wheel of choice. Turn, turn, turn. Tell me the person that I shall burn. It gave me the Town Hall column. So, let's read. So why does Jerry think Roe v. Wade should be overturned? Well, let's find out. 1, it was all based on lies. Here's some of his examples. The main lie was that an abortion was needed for Roe, who we later learned was named Norma McCorvey, because she was supposedly gang raped. But that was not true. McCorvey just wanted an abortion, and her attorney falsely promised to help her get one. I'll agree with you, that's a bad thing. Knowing full well it could not happen, well, maybe it should have been able to happen. I mean, if you lie about being gang raped, I don't really trust you as a mother. Forgive me if I'm cynical. Another lie was the number of women who supposedly died in America because of illegal abortion. Abortionist, they keep using that term, abortionist. Bernard Nansen told the media that each year about 10,000 women died from illegal abortion. He later admitted that he made the number up from thin air, but the willing media reported it as if it were gospel truth. In 1972, the last year before Roe, the CDC reported that 39 women died from illegal abortion in America. However, listen to how he frames that. That may be 39 too many, so you agree that's still too many. Any number is too many. However, you can't believe the solution. And then they do the classic argument. Thankfully, both McCorvey and Nansen became pro-life Christians. You just called them liars. They sound like bad people. That's your representation of the pro-life movement now? 2 people who you just admitted lied? Here is number 2. It has no real constitutional basis. Now, I'm skipping a few paragraphs. The whole thing was based on the right to privacy, which is not spelled out in the Constitution. The 4th Amendment, protection from unreasonable search and seizure. Instead, it comes from Gisworld versus Connecticut, which states specific guarantees in the Bill of Rights have penumbras formed by emanations from those guarantees that help give them life and substance. Various guarantees create zones of privacies. So the Supreme Court determined, yes, it does, and yes, it is, and you're just wrong. Number 3, abortion hurts women. Many women who have had abortions have been shocked to find that they feel guilty about them. Give me a second. This is a copy of the United States Constitution. I want you to find me where there is a right from guilt. Some of the most anti-abortion critics today are those who regretted having had an abortion. There's also a right from regret in the Constitution. A lot of people don't know that. I'm sorry, but if abortion shouldn't be allowed because there's no right to it in the Constitution, you gotta find me the right from, so far, regret and guilt. And those just don't exist. Number 4. Abortion kills millions of unborn babies. You can kill something before it's born, which is the beginning of life. You can kill something before it's alive. I've debunked that pro-life talking point time and time again, and they never have had a response to it. However, the fifth reason to not support abortion is simply God opposes it. This reason is the only one that ultimately counts, not in a secular country. God says they always capitalize he for some reason, opposes the shedding of innocent blood. Isn't there a part in the Bible that says that if you think your wife cheated on you to conceive a son or daughter, you could go to a priest, get some water, and then if it isn't your kid, the kid would just sort of die? What do you think that is? What must he think of this wide-scale, deliberate slaughter of the innocents? All of us reading these words should be grateful that we escaped the abortionists' knives. Yes, there is a plot in America to abort every single person. A lot of people don't know that. Tragically, tens of millions of fellow Americans were not so fortunate. So this is just nonsense, and that is it. I'm Ephrom. Good night, and good to be in a good new location. See you tomorrow.